it is honestly an amazing, amazing day when I get to say that Life is Strange True Colors is about as close to a masterpiece as you can get. I cannot believe how much I love this game, and I think it does an incredible job. I'm going to go through, the pros, the very few cons, all in this video, but I really cannot believe, and I want to stress, I can't stress enough, I love Life is Strange, the first game, to death. I've talked about it many times. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Is there a biasness there towards Life is Strange because of that? Maybe, but I love that game to death. I love Max to death. I love the time travel, the themes, Arcadia Bay. I mean, it's just incredible. Life is Strange 2, I've been very notorious, at least on YouTube, with just saying how much I absolutely hate the game. And I would say I hate it even more now because Deck 9 knows what it's doing, and Don't Nod, clearly as time has gone on, does not know what it's doing. Now, this is not a hit piece on Don't Nod. I just want to kind of come across clean, where I stand on all of this stuff, because I didn't know what to expect for True Colors. I liked Before the Storm. I know a lot of people didn't like Before the Storm, but in my opinion, Deck 9 understands what is actually a Life is Strange game, whereas Don't Nod tried to change it to a Brothers on the Run game for 2. True Colors is incredible in pretty much every single way. And I'm going to tell you some of the positives. Visually, I can't even believe it. In terms of the lighting and the colors, you see a lot of people talking about that. The colors of this game, clearly, it's literally called True Colors, but you know what? They pop like I've never seen any game before. And, this game, Life is Strange has always had a very different art style, I would say, to other games just in general, not even just in its genre, but other games in general. And I would say, me personally, I love the direction it's taken. We've gone through a lot of advancements, visual quality, in how it's improved just in 6 years since Life is Strange. I mean, we're at the 6-year anniversary of the finale of Life is Strange. It's insane how much it's improved, but also kind of still kept just that. The literal art style. Look back at what Max and Chloe and just that game looked like. It wasn't the best looking game in the world, but the lighting was incredible. I think there was just something endearing about the entire visual appeal of that game. It still is there. I mean, it's even there in Life is Strange 2, I'd argue, but it's here as well. But the colors, the visuals, again, just in how these characters look, I honestly could not get enough of Alex talking, or even Steph. Steph is a good character to look at in terms of facial movement. These characters, they have quirky and just emotional faces that they'll make, right? Where their eyes will do some kind of maybe cringy stuff. Maybe they're sad. Maybe they're embarrassed. Maybe it's awkward. And these are emotions that I don't think you could get out of these characters. Even Max, as much as I love her, I don't think you can get out those kind of emotions from those characters with the visual designs you had back then. I think they killed it with visuals, with how they've improved how the game has looked. And really, Deck 9 was the first one to do it with Before the Storm. That was the first major. You could see how big of a jump it was between Life is Strange and then Before the Storm. So visuals, they absolutely nailed it. Music, my dear God. Music has always been a staple of Life is Strange, and I don't require, great soundtracks to make a great game. It does sometimes happen. I mean, I can think of some of my favorite soundtracks, and they do align with just really good games, but they're not make or break. I would say with Life is Strange, though, it is way more important. Life is Strange 1, again, a really big theme was just all of that indie music that was amazing. I mean, I got the soundtrack when the deluxe, physical edition came out. I love the music in that first game to death. Again, comparing it here, it is terrific. And the game literally opens. Okay, this is a spoiler for the first 5 minutes if you care. It opens with everything you want from Life is Strange. You get a little bit of the emotion and the character of who Alex is. You get the beautiful look of what Haven Springs looks like. Then you get the music. Actually, I think the music is the first thing you hear. And it's not copying Life is Strange 1, but it's very reminiscent of Life is Strange 1. And then you get a moment where you can kind of hang off the bridge and just take in the environment. And it's that classic scene that I talk so much about of how much, what I love about Life is Strange. And this game does it many, many times that you can or cannot do it. You can choose, where you hit a button and you're just standing there, and the frames, the scenes will change, and they'll show different things that are going on. Alex will think to herself, and there's just this beautiful music playing in the background. Atmospherically, it's incredible, and that all happens in the first 5 minutes, and I could not believe, because I was I'm back. This is a Life is Strange game, guys. I'm gonna say it until the day I die. This is how you do it. Now, again, there are weaknesses, and I do want to touch upon them, but I'm going to kind of rapid fire why this game is successful, and I'll use Life is Strange 2 to kind of pick on it at the same time. Here's why it's successful. Alex is a likable, yet relatable, yet she's got a huge personality to her that I think is phenomenal. Like, you just like to like her. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? She's a great main character. I don't know if I like her more than Max, but she's definitely in that same league. And again, Sean and Daniel, they don't even qualify, okay? You're in one area, and it's not a big area. In fact, I would argue Arcadia Bay, even in terms of like scope of what they want you to believe Arcadia Bay is bigger. But I would say this worked out really well for what they were trying to do for this Haven Springs. I mean, you get the sense that it's a town. There is houses. There's like a church, I believe, that's like off the beaten path. You can't go to those, but like you're on like this strip with all these like small businesses and like locally owned, right? And that's your area for the entire game. I love it. What have I always said about Life is Strange 1? Arcadia Bay is a character. It's a character because you stay there and you learn to love it. And the same thing with Haven Springs. You learn to, again, visually it's just so beautiful and inviting, and then you're just there. You're in the park when you do the LARPing thing, which, my dear God, what a genius idea. That entire third episode was so off the walls insane in like a grounded way that it was absolutely incredible. But, Haven Springs is its own character. I believe in this game. Same thing along with that. The supporting characters, there are some. That's, again, a weakness of 2, a big strength, I would say, of 1, and a huge strength here. There's the characters in the town, the council meeting, when you're, mourning Gabe and you're doing, like, the paper lanterns, right? Those are, like, your cast. That's your entire cast. Now, again, like, the city or the town is bigger than that, but those are the only people really you see, for the most part. But that's good because there's reoccurring faces. You learn interesting things about this, and just like any Life is Strange game, you can go more deep into it. You can analyze every single thing you see. You can read every single text. I did that. I would actually go into the text and go all the way up to the top to see what happened. There's actually a couple of cool background stories with like Alex and some friends she had like a couple years before she left, the foster care stuff, where it seems like they like kind of just ditched her, but like it's those kind of extra details. All Life is Strange games pretty much have those, and I always respect them. I will throw in very briefly, because I know this always upset people, no politics, no forcing things down our throat, just to do it. That's very important, right? You can do whatever you want. Literally, I don't care, but it needs to, I would say it needs to feel right, and it needs to feel not forced, all of this different kind of stuff. I'm not going to go too far into it, but it was perfect. It was perfect. You have a character. You have the power. The reading emotions is actually more deep than I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? It's way better than using the Force. It's not as good as time travel. Now, here's the things. I'll say a couple of the weaknesses here. Again, I don't know if I like Alex as much as Max. I would say I do love the small scale and the incredible groundness of the game. However, and again, this will go into spoilers, the end of 4 and the first 45 minutes of episode 5 very much almost seemed like they wanted to do, a different game at that point. You know what I mean? Now, you could argue that was kind of the case the whole time. Because like I said, episode 3 literally was like a fantasy, role. It was like Kingdom Hearts. It was like Final Fantasy. It was insane how different 3 was. But, it still felt like Life is Strange in a way. But I guess you could argue it didn't. But I would say, kind of being stuck in limbo, going through her past, confronting her emotions, all of that kind of stuff, literally actually using time travel in a way, which was funny because you have a character that can do that. It did feel a little, I loved it. I will say that I loved going through the different moments in her life that kind of unlocked different powers, for her emotion, the thing with her mom, dad, actually literally all 3 of them. It was really well done. I'm not saying it was bad. It just felt very different from, the rest of the game. Almost like they wanted to go into that more sci-fi, supernatural kind of thing like, the first game did, with time travel, but like they couldn't, but they wanted to, so they had to fit, So it was a little weird, but I did overall really like it. I guess one small thing there is that I can look by or through it or by it, but I don't know how she survived the entire, she got shot, she fell, oh my God, like 100+ feet maybe right down a mining shaft. I have no idea how you survived that, but I guess you have to suspend your beliefs, So I would say that was probably a weakness. The supporting cast again was incredibly good, and Steph was a phenomenal character. Great to see her again. Ryan was great. Like, I didn't didn't expect. I really didn't know what to expect with any of these side characters, but I loved so many of them. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff there. There's the mini games with like the arcade. Obviously, there's like the collectibles you can do. There's just so much, so many layers, which again is kind of what Life is Strange is all about, right? I would say in terms of like themes, like multiple themes, they didn't really tackle many, which is interesting because again, that was kind of the thing with 1, and I would even argue Before the Storm, but that's okay. I guess it's tough because like when I was reading reviews about this, there was a lot of people that said like it's literally the best of Life is Strange. And then I guess on the other side, some people were saying, you know, it's a bit slow. It doesn't really kind of like escalate. There's really no climax, like some huge exciting thing. I would say it's a really tough thing because I'm even thinking about it like right now. Like, do I love it or do I just like really like it? You know what I mean? Is it like good or is it great? Kind of in that area in between, because I do really respect them for honestly not trying to do anything absolutely crazy, because it doesn't really work. You know what I mean? She reads emotions. There's only so much you can do with that. You can't do a time travel thing. You know what I mean? You can't go to that level, but you can go to other levels. You know what I mean? So I think they did a really good job. I would say they're like, I don't know what makes a Life is Strange game a Life is Strange game. I think a ton of elements this game had in it, and also Life is Strange 1 had in it. That's what makes a Life is Strange game a Life is Strange game. The supernatural stuff, the kind of like next level things, I don't know if that really defines what a Life is Strange game is. I would have argued that obviously in the first game, but ever since then they've kind of gone away with it. I would also say the endings, I'm fine with them, again, because it kind of fits the theme of, you know, she's moving here, and do you want her to start a new life here? She kind of already has people like her. She has people there, and depends on obviously who you choose as well, right? But like it works. Like it would work here. Or do you want to take a chance and, you know, you're a good musician? Do you want to go and do something with, you know, I guess not really do something with your life because you could do it there, but do you want to take that chance in life? And I like that. You know, I mean, it's kind of powerful, but in a smaller setting. It's actually almost very real. You know what I mean? Because people have those kind of, you know, epiphanies or just kind of thoughts all the time. So I kind of respect that. But I guess like, you know, you either, again, spoilers for the ending, you either stay with Ryan, stay with Steph, leave with Ryan, leave with Steph. It's 6 options, but they're so closely related. I will give them credit that no matter what happens with Jed, it's always, or no, I guess whatever happens with like the town council, like if they back you or not, no matter what, like you're gonna get the confession. So there is an ending, much like, you know, Life is Strange, obviously, right? Like no matter what happens, like there is some sort of, well, I guess not really, because if you pick Chloe, everybody dies. But then if you don't pick Chloe, you have to watch her die and you do the funeral and stuff, which I think is, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of impactful on, like, another level. And, again, that's not what this game necessarily was going for. So it's tough. Like, I'm literally sitting here kind of, like, rocking. It's like I don't really know how to feel about it. I would say this, and I thought this while playing. You know what I mean? This game is, like, a sliver below the first game, in my opinion. It is so close to the level of the first game. I would say I just like them kind of taking bigger chances in the first game with the, and again, that's not even the same team. You know, it's hard to compare. But, you know, going off of the like when you don't know if you belong in the world anymore, not saying certain words, right? Like that kind of stuff, and just the Rachel Amber stuff and the time travel stuff being kind of in the background. And then you have like Nathan Prescott, which is kind of a red herring. Then you have Jefferson. I mean, there's so many levels, and I think Max is just an insanely likable, just like Alex. Honestly, they're both very likable characters immediately. You like them. Again, I do think Max would win in my, but it's just personal taste. I like Life is Strange 1 more, barely, because of personal taste. I would say this is very much quality-wise equal, if not better, in a lot. I mean, obviously, like visuals and stuff like that, better than any other Life is Strange game. I've said this to my friend, and I don't mean this as any disrespect to Don't Nod, but I'm gonna say it because I pride myself on just telling you guys how I feel and how I believe it is. Deck 9 deserves Life is Strange. They, in my opinion, did a really good job with Before the Storm. They killed it with the Farewell episode. It's one of my favorite things Life is Strange has ever done. And they absolutely knocked this game out of the park, where if you are, you know, if you don't like Life is Strange because of 2, give it a chance. Play this game, because trust me, Trust me, I hated 2. This is nothing like 2. Nothing. So I am a big fan of this, and I will also say to add a little bit more poking at Don't Nod should never touch this franchise again. I get they gave it to us. I get they made, in my still opinion, the best one. I openly admit that. It is my favorite one. But I mean, just the path that they've gone and the path that Deck 9 has gone, Deck 9 deserves this, and Deck 9 deserves to make more games easily. I mean, I would give them the keys to Life is Strange, and I think they already have them, but I would give them it right now if you haven't already. Bravo, Deck 9. I did not think I'd be saying how much I love this game. I did not think I'd be considering it for Game of the Year, in my personal opinion, and just a game that truly shocked me at how grounded, kind of small scale, but just personal a game can be. That's what Life is Strange 1 did, with some higher elements, some next level stuff, but this game did it too. I'm so happy. Final thing I'll say to end this review, the people that say that I hate everything, they must literally be banging their head against the wall right now, because there's nothing you can say. After you see a video like this, what are you supposed to say? You know what I mean? So thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys made it all the way through, and if you did, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of the game in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. There will be plenty more Life is Strange videos on the channel over the coming days. We'll talk about the future. The Steph DLC I'll definitely be covering. Life is Strange Remastered I'll be recovering. So definitely we'll be talking a lot more Life is Strange as time goes on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.